First time I was in Ghana, I was 16. So a big difference from 16 years ago to today. I was a kid, so I didn't appreciate the first journey here than I do now. And the difference between here and the Western culture is how things are treated, and how people take for granted of things that other people don't have the luxury to do. My name is Tony, and I'm here for a wedding of my godparents, and I'm here to get more experience to learn about the culture and to look at all of the beautiful art and the beautiful people and enjoy good music and all of the food that has been traditionally passed down to different other cultures, and to come back to the birthplace of all of people.
Wow. You made mention of a whole lot of things concerning culture and so forth. But let me ask you this. Is it your first time being in Ghana? And also, how are you blending African culture or maybe Ghanaian culture and also the Western culture together?
Well, this is my second time. First time I was in Ghana, I was 16. So a big difference from 16 years ago to today. I was a kid, so I didn't appreciate the first journey here than I do now. And the difference between here and the Western culture is how things are treated, and how people take for granted of things that other people don't have the luxury to do. And there's also similarities between the Western culture and Ghanaians, specifically people of color. Maybe not similar languages, but certain familiar things that people of color both understand and go through, and traditions and things how we are raised are a lot of similarities.
So tell me some of the experiences you had so far whilst you were in Ghana.
Well, I got to learn how to cook red bread, which is very delicious. The other experiences is just experience the hard work that people here go through every day to make a living, to support themselves and their family, and to try to get an education as best as they can without having that free will based on finances.
You know, we are pushing very hard to bridge the gap between African Americans and Africa in order for us to develop our own continent, for us to live peacefully in it. In your opinion, how do we come together to bridge that gap in order for us to merge things to develop our own continent?
Well, we got to stop disrespecting each other. More so, take about a lot of the sayings that between Africans and Americans say about each other, trying to not compare each other, of saying who's better than who based on where they're from. We stop that instead of come together, we'd be more powerful together.
You made mention of respecting each other. Can you just break down or maybe go a little further into the respect wise that you are really talking about?
Because, well, people like Americans, Black Americans, it's hard to try to come together for the fact that all of what they've noticed on TV about Africans, and a lot of that is embedded in their mind of how all Africans are, based on how they take care of themselves. They don't bathe every day, or talk of negative things. That sometimes it is hard to take care of yourself if you don't have it. But then also, Africans sometimes feel like because they're from the motherland, they're, better, instead of trying to educate Americans, Black Americans, to become one and teach them things that, they may not know, and to want to encourage them to try to at least witness or give them insight of what the culture can bring and what a culture is.
Wow. Some Americans have painted Africa to the world to be a bad place and so forth. So with this, it has also already affected some people that are living in America, wishing to come to Africa. In your own way, you are in Ghana now, you are in Africa.
Yes.
How would you tell the people out there in the Western world that Africa is not a bad place, Africa is just a good place, so they all have to move to Africa to establish themselves? How would you preach that to them?
Well, as a start, every place have some good place, good place, and then there's also places that are not as beautiful. But it's the hardship of sometimes that will help you become stronger by going back to where people are trying to live the best they can, and that you should appreciate that, and to not judge people and the place of what it is, because you never know, and people are trying, and America is also the same way. There is also places that are not healthy for people to live. There's no clean water in the U.S. as well, so we might not have as much big issues, but there is issues that we have that we are fighting to fight against, that is not beneficial to women and to our health.
My final question that I want to ask is two final questions that I want to ask. One is about African media. African media is preaching to the world that Africa is not a bad place. But people normally say that Africa, they sleep in trees and so forth.
Right.
But you are in Africa, you've seen it with your own eyes, that they don't sleep in trees and so forth. Some American medias have still been painting Africa that Africa is like they sleep in trees and so forth. So in your own way, how would you also advise those American media, some American media, I'm not trying to generalize it, some American medias that are preaching Africa to be a bad place or maybe a negative place? And also the second question is that you've been in tourist places in Ghana. When you go there, the history that it tells you guys about the slavery and also how they treated our ancestors and so forth, and also our forefathers, has it had any emotional effect on you? If yes, how did you overcome that?
Yes, it has, because I think about that, the struggle and the fight and the resistance that the African people here who become enslaved did to try to not be caught, or to not have their mind be caught here, and that they were willing to do whatever to help them to survive and to not being captured by what the atrocity and the evil that has caused them, and that it also has trickled down into American society of Black people, because of the fact that we don't take advantage of the fact that people before us was fighting to get equal rights and to have a life of luxury where they were used to before. And people don't understand the hard work it takes to get there, and people don't understand to want to work to get there. They just want to be comfortable where they are, and it's not fair because other people are trying to work hard and get there where they used to be.
Okay, so my last question to you have to also answer some American medias that has been painting Africa to be a bad place, sleeping in trees and so forth. How would you advise them to stop doing that?
I say that the best experience is to go there, because people can say any and everything, but I feel that as a person, instead of listening to the media, because the media can twist and turn words however they like to get people attention. The best teacher is by experience. So getting the experience to actually see for yourself is better, because then you can hear, as the saying goes, hear from the horse's mouth.
Wow. So thank you very much